Right, I haven't made a video for quite a few months, and the reason for that is because I actually couldn't face it. Just the thought of even talking about my grief or thinking about my grief was too daunting. Just the even yeah, I stopped talking about it, and kept most things to myself. Even if someone saw me that hadn't seen me for a long time and would say, like, how are you? How's the kids? They might even say, I've been through the same thing. I know how you feel. I would dismiss it. I don't want to talk about it. I think I've been in denial, to tell the truth. I've been in denial. I stopped listening to Paul's voice notes. I stopped playing videos of him. I stopped listening to his music. I think I was just pretending this not happened. It's happened to someone else. You see, with me, anything at all that's happened to me that has been traumatic in my life, I bury it. I put it in a box and I just act like it never happened. I bury things and forget about them. To the point where sometimes I actually have to think, did that happen to me, or has that happened to someone else and they've told me about it? I can bury it that deep, which obviously I don't want that to happen because I don't want to forget Paul. But one day something happened that changed my point of view. And I think that was the realisation that he's not coming back. Because I still, quite a few times a week, would go to pick up the phone to call him. I have actually even dialed the number once or twice. But I think once I accepted that he's gone and he's not coming back, it's eased a lot of pressure for me. I mean, you don't get me wrong, I still have awful, bad days, awful days. Like my birthday, for one. I was out most of the day and I was completely fine. And I think the day after my birthday, I went to Wembley Arena, had a great time with friends, and I was fine. But on the Sunday, I was in a dark place. It was horrible. I don't know how I got out of it, to tell the truth. In fact, and I think the rest of the week was awful. And I think that's what it is as well. It's when things happen for the first time since you've lost your partner. It's horrible. Like, I mean, the anniversary of Paul's passing is in December and we're now in September, and I'm already dreading it. Because the thought of reliving that day, what I went through, the emotion I felt, I don't know if I can actually handle feeling like that again. And I've read somewhere, and another family member has told me that when that day comes, it is like reliving that day. And I've been contemplating, what do I do? Do I take the day off work, or do I still go in and pretend it's not that day? Or if I take the day off work, what am I going to do? Stay in bed all day and cry and be miserable? I don't know. But I do know that I'm dreading it. I don't know how people carry on. Because I've been carrying on, I'm not going to lie. I've been quite blessed because Paul was an MC and a DJ, and so therefore a lot of his friends have been around me and taking me out, and I've had great time. And even at them times, I feel like I feel Paul's presence around me more, actually, when I'm out having a good time and dancing, because I know that he would be there dancing with me. And I just feel, there's been the odd time when I've actually thought I've seen him in the crowd, where I feel like I've spotted him. And that actually gives me a bit of comfort, because it makes me feel like he is there, even though I can't see him, I can feel his spirit. Now I've lost my train of thought. Let me pause you a minute. The hardest part of this grief journey for me is, one, that in this lifetime, I'm not going to see Paul again. I'm not going to smell his skin. I'm not going to feel his body or, touch his hand. That is hard. But what is hard is, while me and Paul were together, both of us have gone through a lot of grief from friends and family members. But we're there for each other. When he was grieving, he lost 2 family members while we were together, in fact 3. I was there for him. When he was down, I would hold him, I would comfort him. If he didn't want to talk, I'd be there not talking right next to him. If he wasn't eating, I would cook for him. He was my comforter. And this time, I have no one. When someone's lost a partner, I've never thought of that before. There's no one to hold me at night and tell me it's okay. There's no one to sit and hold my hand or let me lay on their chest and watch television, in silence. Or I don't have that physical contact with anyone, because he was that person. And that is something that I miss a hell of a lot, a real lot. Having no one to comfort me. I mean, your friends give you a hug, but what's that? 5 seconds, a little pat on the back, or a little rub. Do you know what I mean? It's not the same. And that's hard. But on the other hand, something that helps me get through is knowing, when Paul and I first started dating, within about 3 months, he asked me to marry him. Now, this is because we've been friends for, at this point, a good 20, almost 30 years. So we already knew each other, and we dated previously. It just didn't work out. We were young. So although it's quick for some people think that's quick, 3 months, it's not in comparison for how long we've actually known each other. And I said no. I said that I wasn't ready to be engaged. So Paul told me to wear the ring on my engagement finger as an eternity ring. Eternity, because then that day we promised each other that we would no matter what life threw at us as a couple or in a relationship, we were not separating. We both decided, although we're not getting married yet, this is us for life. We made a commitment to each other that day in my kitchen. We're both going to be together for the rest of our lives. And that's what brings me comfort, is unfortunately I haven't held up my end of the bargain because I'm still here. And being 46 now, the likelihood, I've come to realise now, the likelihood of me staying single for the rest of my life is slim. Because realistically, if I say live to be 86, that's another 40 years. I can't be single for 40 years. That's almost half my life, as hard as it sounds. But Paul did spend the rest of his life with me. And I see that as a real blessing, because although he never knew he was going to go so early, I feel chosen. He chose his soul, the spirit, God, the universe. I don't know who or how, but I was chosen. He spent the rest of his life with me, and that brings me great comfort. And what also brings me comfort is knowing that when it's my time, he'll be waiting on the other side. But we can't let grief consume us. I mean, especially when you're younger, like myself. I've got children, you have to carry on for their sake. I mean, it's been a tough year, not just for me, but for my family. You know, my son's had exams and he did well in his exams. I was very proud of him, but he was disappointed because he felt like he could have done better. But through his grief, I think he did amazing. And the same with Paul's own children. But I'm doing okay. And I hope I know your story won't be the same as mine because we're all different, but I hope that anything I say, or if you follow me on Facebook, I don't know if you see what I get up to, and dancing and music helps me a lot. And if you can just take away one thing that I do to help you get through, then my job is done. I dance a lot, I work out a lot. Endorphins is a big help. You'd be amazed at how much that working out can help you from not becoming depressed. I think I've been on here a bit too long now, so I'm going to go. But if you're watching and you've been through you're going through the similar thing as me, then try and be strong. Wake up every day and be grateful that you're still here, and be grateful that you had that time with that person that you love. Just be grateful for that, because if you loved them as much as I love Paul, we may never find that again. I may never be treated like how Paul treated me ever again. So I'm extremely grateful that he was in my life, and just be grateful that you had your love.